fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got really outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God! Oh. Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Six very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
It's the speed track that everybody has a tendency to love here today. Some wonderful action happens time and time again around this place, and we are watching this one with bated breath as we see everybody looking to get themselves in, ready, waiting, and going for brilliant action here today. It's Monza, it's round 10, the drop rounds are starting to take their effect, and on a Monday night here, when it comes to what we have going on, it's going to be some sensational action on the iRacing Esports Network. This is a SimSpeed TV presentation brought to you by Jake Sperry and Nick Skarajev with Jay Kennedy on the cameras. 5 minutes remaining here in practice, in qualifying, even a little bit under. They get 2 laps to get things going today. 40 minutes of racing action required, and this is the stop-start track, which of course coined the very famous boat setup, of course, of everybody trying to get as much as they can out of the straight lines around this place. This is a really cool battling track here, Nick.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jake. So just zooming in now, pretty sunny day. We've got in Italy, north of Florence, and in between you can see Spain off to the west. Just zooming in now, 5.8 kilometers.
And there you can see the track right now on the outskirts of Milan. There's the golf course there on the right-hand side. Some brilliant racing action goes here as everybody gets themselves on through, as turns 1 and 2, the Variante di Rettifilo, go really well. 620-meter run to turn 1's going to be key, as Jake Burton currently sets the fastest time out of anyone, 1:47.495. But I want to focus attention on cars 2 and 4 here today at the moment, in 7th and 8th position at the moment out on track. Jack Boyd and Damien Johnstone. It's a livery change because they have changed their team. No longer have they gone rogue. They have gone rogue from gone rogue and now find themselves at Synergy.
Yeah, that's exactly right there. Seeing some pretty consistent laps there from Dyson and Boyd, so putting on a pretty good effort. That paint looks absolutely amazing as it comes around in this sunny Italian day.
This is where you can find the pace trying to go through. There's Steve Janssen in the nice blue and black Mustang, making progress through the first of 2 Lesmo corners, some of the most technical on this circuit as they go on through. Corey Preston currently in 2nd, Tom Freer 3rd, and Dylan Rudd has just moved up into 4th position with Marco Nurmela, the Finn, in 5th place. There's David Kinman, though, trying to make some progress over towards the line. We'll see what sort of time this is. Crossing it goes 16th place, just a shade off, a second off the pace there, a 1:48.489, as drivers will be looking to go through. A lot of drivers, though, here today. At least 29 drivers here in this field, with Matt Lapino yet to set a time. So everybody's going to be searching for something, and this is going to be a very jam-packed field. Jack Boyd drops down the order because Brian Borg has just jumped up into 8th place ahead, and there is Boyd trying to get something more out of the tyres, but it's always very tough in the late stages. Corey Preston in the Exto Gaming car has to dive down into the pits because he can't find what he needs. And then there's Daniel Johnson as well in the yellow car, trying to get on through, and he's trying to go up ahead of the 10th row of the grid in 20th. He drops down with that because of Jordi Sinai going to 17th, but Dan Johnson remains in 22nd place as we look at Andrew Dyson in the Simrigs.com DPR car having an expression session slide.
Yeah, that's it. Just seeing a few of the cars now, so everyone will be fighting for that position at the front. So, yeah, with that chicane right at the start, you want to really try and get your nose clear of everyone else. It's going to be a lot of hustle and bustle as they get through, that first 1 and 2 chicane.
Here's Darren Lobb looking for a first time on the board. It's a 48.273. That's good enough for the 8th row at the moment for the simrigs.com DPR car there, having a good run. There is Matt Lapino, car number 29, lowest iRating of anybody in this field. So he has everything to gain right now. 52.7 his last lap, and he crosses the stripe and does a 150.0, but it looks like that one was with an off-track instant point, so that one will not count. There is the wonderful livery of the Rob Bowden in the tanked SRT machine. It looks like art form, the way that it goes on through over towards the famous Parabolica corner, and this corner has seen so much go on. It is one of the true icons of this circuit, this 180-degree long right-hand corner here, Nick.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jack. Not too sure how Rob Bowden will go that. He did come very wide there out of Ascari, and we'll see if it registers the time. Yeah, slightly up the order now in 17th.
Yeah, absolutely. So he gets that one all nice and forward. I didn't know my name was Jack, but we'll find out in a little bit anyway. But Marty Hansen right now is going to be one of the last drivers in the Bow Repairs Redback Racing Team car, trying to find something more, but this one will surely be a dive down onto pit lane. There's not that much pace in the car, so that one not working. Let's get up for you then how everybody stacks in terms of this grid then here at this classic Monza circuit here. It's one of the relics before time, and continuing in time and after time, it proves to be a marvel. Jake Burton then on pole position here, 147.495. He's got half a tenth over Corey Preston alongside, who will want to have a good result here today. Tom Freer starts third with Dylan Rudd in 4th place, and Marco Nurmela in 5th position with Corey Shepherd on row 3. Row 4 sees Andrew Dyson and Brian Borg in the Premier Racing Team car, with the 2 new boys at Synergy 9th and 10th, Jack Boyd and Damian Johnstone.
Yeah, we're just seeing missing out on the top 10, Mitchell Bolton and Thomas McMillan on row 6, Kenneth Latter and Henry Makala on row 7, Cole George and Darren Lobb, Rob Bowden, as we just saw before, coming in 17th, Jordan Sinney, Michael Rosenblatt and David Kimon rounding out the top 20.
And then we look on to the final row, 30 cars here today. You've got Steve Janssen and Paul Di Maria there on row 11, Daniel Johnson and Greg Sharp there with Marty Hansen and James Chastanerth on row 13. Then there's Sam Collins, Christian Smart, who's been left a little bit on his own at Gone Rogue with the announcement earlier on today, and Michael Cracknell did not set a representative lap time, nor did one other driver in that field, rounding out the 30 cars that I did not see as I was going down there the grid. There's the track conditions, 27 degrees in the air, which means that it would be quite nice to go into that swimming pool that we just saw sometime around about now, but they've got 2 minutes to grid up here. 22-lap race. It's only 125 kilometers there or thereabouts, so this is going to be quick. This is going to be a sprint. This is going to be about who gets aggressive into the opening corners. Watch out for rollovers here today. This could be tough. There's the green and there's the go, and it looks like it's a nice clean start from those at the front immediately. Likes of Thomas McMillan looking to go to the outside there, about 6 rows back, but it looks like Jake Burton's got the whole shot here as they hit the brakes into the Rettifilio for the first time. He covers the inside line against Corey Preston as they all funnel on through left and right. A little bit of contact there through the middle as everyone checks up. It looks like the boot's missing now from Corey Shepherd. Round goes one of the vehicles there running into troubles, and it looks like it is dropping down the order Mitch Bolton, who was in 11th place, and he's got a little bit of a friend for company.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate there for Mitch Bolton, as we just see a few of the other cars trying to feel their way through there. Daniel Johnson also pretty unlucky.
Through. And Corey Preston got through here on the run to the Della Roggia, the second chicane, so he's got that one done. We'll catch a Motum Simulation replay then here on this opening lap of how this all came about. So Corey Preston picks up the race lead, and actually now it looks like we got one driver dropping down the order, and it is Corey Preston who's going down. So we'll look at Mitch Bolton here, right in the middle. It always bottlenecks up. He finds a gap down the inside, and they squeeze against each other. Nowhere for, I think that's Johnstone to go, and then the Premier Racing Team car runs into troubles. Dan Johnson also runs into a few troubles, but Jake Burton here does lose that place on the exit of the opening section. They're just running too deep through the corner. Little tap there from Tom Freer, but going through, it'll be the next section where it all goes wrong for one Mr. Corey Preston. I wonder if there was contact of any kind or whether he has just lost it on his own. We do not know at this stage, but what we do know here in terms of this one is that Jake Burton does lead this race out right here at the moment. We catch it on replay. He'd already lost it there. Oh, he's just gone off wide. I wonder if we can rewind that back a little bit more into the first Lesmo. Is it a case of eyes bigger than the belly? He up and settles the car there going through the first chicane. And now to the first Lesmo. It's not a normal place you make a move, but he goes down in on the brakes. He just loses the back end. I don't know if there was contact or not there, but definitely losing the back end. Let's look at it from the front of Burton.
Yeah, we did see Burton there just as they were hitting the Lesmo, was very, very close there, but holding his gap on, yeah, just as the most minor of taps there while Corey Preston's car has been unloaded.
That will not make Corey Preston very happy at all. He is very vocal as there is Corey Shepherd dropping back behind Rob Bowden in a tanked SRT car. He's down in a straight line with that missing rear downforce there, so that's not helping Corey Shepherd here after being effectively pancaked in the opening section. But there is Freer in second. There in third position is Marco Nurmela, having a fantastic run of things here at the moment and looking to prove that there is more than just the Australians that do well here at the moment in the Racecraft esports machine. Of course, some very, very accomplished drivers have come through that Racecraft team, one of which is a pro driver right now in the Porsche Esports Super Cup, that one belonging to Brian Lockwood. So that car for Marco Nurmela is wanting to find pace quick.
Yeah, we're just seeing a few, talking about pace, we're just seeing this top group of top four just breaking this this gap now to Corey Preston with Burton, Freer, Nurmela and Dyson all managing to stick together.
It's 1.5 seconds between Dyson and Preston at the moment. There's Jack Boyd. He's got Kenneth Latter just behind, teammate, of course, to Corey Preston, who will be wanting to give as much help as possible there in the Exto Gaming car through the Parabolica at the end of the second lap and onto the front stretch. They will go once again searching for the draft to be so very crucial around here. But this is the issue with the trains. They're stuck behind Dylan Rudd in the Racecraft Engineering car. Fastest lap of the day goes to Jake Burton on a 47.8. Now everybody's going to be stuck in that draft train. They'll be hitting the limiters right at the end of the straight before hitting down onto the brakes. They can go incredibly quick, these vehicles, up to 300 kilometers an hour at their fastest. So everybody's got to be really patient here and make sure it works. Latter with a half slide, and that might open the door for Johnstone.
Yeah, exactly right. And with that draft as well, playing in so tightly as well, we did see Dylan Rudd coming onto that pit straight, just trying to break the that draft there to Jack Boyd.
And he's trying to break that draft, and it's just not quite worked out at the moment. So they stay as they are for the time being, through the left, through the right of the Delaroche here, and onto the Lesmo section once again. Out on track. This mid-pack really looking like it's wanting to be feisty here. And look at this, a little look then from one Mr. Dylan Rudd. That's Jack Boyd, who's found a way through and up a position. So we'll get a motion simulation replay then, get a little look on how this one changed hands, and this one down the inside of the first Lesmo. Not often you see that, but it was almost like there was a little bit of boxing in there from Corey Preston. Jack Boyd just saw the door open up, and it's almost as if you got a free invitation to rob a house.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Given an inch and taken a mile, so Boyd really well done making that move. And as we just see him there coming onto the straight, just seeing everyone pulling so tightly behind, trying to find a gap there. It does look like Boyd's going to make a move around the outside.
He's trying. Corey Preston's got to be alert to this one here, because there is Jack Boyd, who's just run out into the marbles ever so slightly, part of the iRacing dynamic track. Kyle George has found a way through, and Kenneth Latter behind this as well. So Kyle George in the United car is making some great progress here and trying to get on through. But look at this. They head down the front stretch. Damian Johnstone would want in, but backs out of it here in comparison to Kenneth Latter. He wants nothing to do with a dive right now in towards turn number one, and who can blame you when you're in a massive pack like this? The moment you start getting too aggressive in a pack, it starts to go wrong. There's a bit of side-by-side there between Paul Di Maria and Corey Shepherd going at it right now, but Shepherd's going to be really disadvantaged here in a straight line, and Steve Janssen will probably want to take advantage as well. Di Maria through Curva Grande has got a Grande move going, but in towards the next section, it's going to be line astern for those in 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Shepherd holding down the inside, but it does look like Janssen is going to have that overlap. You can see there's almost not a straight panel there on Corey Shepherd. Steve Janssen doing pretty well, up a few positions at the moment.
He's having a really good run at the moment, is Steve Janssen, trying to move up through the field right now, but at the moment. Jake Burton and Tom Freer at the front of the field are the only two who are starting to walk away a little bit. And I did have a little chat with Tom Freer earlier on as we focus on the 5th, 6th place battle here between Synergy and Exto, between Jack Boyd and Corey Preston. But I did have a chat with Tom Freer earlier on in the week. He said, I don't know what's happening. Every time I go into a race, I keep feeling the pressure being built on me and my expectation of performances, and I'm just not performing. What do I need to do? And, you know, it's sometimes the point when you look at a driver who's clearly got pace and talent as showing today, just take it one race at a time. You're not really racing for too much at this stage. You don't need to put the pressure on yourself as much as you are. Just think about racing. Just think about just going out there and having a run, as Jack Boyd has to get a lot of opposite lock to keep the car rotating.
Yeah, that's right. A pretty wide exit there by Jack Boyd. Still sitting in behind there of Corey Preston. But yeah, exactly right. Definitely for Freer, just taking it one race at a time, taking it easy. It's it's definitely one of the more fun tracks. So hopefully, can get it done. Oh, big lock up there by Preston.
He's going to keep himself vulnerable now as Jack Boyd looks to try and open the exit. He hasn't got the best of runs, though, being narrow. And as such, he's got to stay in the line. And look again at the next section through Curva Grande here. The big long right, which is pretty much flat out here. And these drivers, if you saw the E-Series that went on with Supercars, you would have seen just how easy you can have a massive accident through there, as Rob Bowden actually has just made the move down into up into 10th place now all of a sudden, going through on Damien Johnstone. And look at Johnstone having to fight, and there was some side-by-side with Kyle George as well. Dan Johnson and Brian Borg now looking battered at the moment going around on circuit, and that's slow down for Dylan Rudd. It's Kyle George who's got himself slow and has allowed Kenneth Latter through up into 8th place.
Yeah, Rob Bowden on an absolute blinder. I think that's about 5 or 6 positions, or possibly even more. So Bowden definitely feeling comfortable in the race at the moment.
Certainly is in car number 12, but Kyle George was the one who dropped the places there just in front. So every place mattering right now as they go on through the next right and left out on track, searching for a bit more out of this place. The mid-pack looking incredibly feisty here today as they start thinking about, okay, next section of road comes up, the Parabolica corner. If I can get a good run through here, I might have a chance into one of the prime places to make a move. That's turn 1. Slight little lock-up of the insides there from the United car. Kenneth Latter, though, is starting to lose the back of Dylan Rudd. It's 1.1 seconds at the moment, and Latter here is going to have to be very wary about which way Kyle George is going to go. There's Corey Preston under pressure. Look at this one down to the inside. We're looking here. It's some Noah's Ark racing. They're too wide. They're almost 3 deep, and Preston's got not much he can fight against here. Jack Boyd there has to take the big wide line going through, and they bump panels here coming off of the exit as they head towards the De La Rogia. Now Preston's got to fight around the outside here of Curva Grande, and this is a very tough place to go too wide.
Yeah, you just see that Holden just sliding there and almost coming together again, managing to keep it a straight line.
No. How has it been saved? Off going straight on as Jack Boyd. He'll have a slow down penalty, but those two will not be happy with each other there. They managed to run into each other maybe 3 times from the Rettifilo to Curva Grande. Jack Boyd is going to have to take that slow down as gently and as delicately as possible. He'll take a couple seconds off of that one, I'm pretty sure, and this will bring everybody back through, and he's got to serve it here in a way that doesn't leave him vulnerable to the overtake, because at the moment he does have that place, and it looks like he has just about served it properly here, or has he not? Because there goes Preston. They're also going down the inside. Is Dylan Rudd looking like he's got the inside here at Ascari? Is there more contact between them? No, but that's some very good driving there from Jack Boyd. He's immediately going aggressive again.
Yeah, Jack Boyd almost, he's going to get the nose again back on Preston. So we are seeing these 4 are only separated by a second or so. You can see Rob Bowden, it's pulling him himself and Cole George onto the back of this train.
And now look at this. It's now a 9-car scrap. Down the inside goes Jack Boyd at Parabolica, getting this one done. Kyle George, all shades of sideways there in the background. And there going through is everybody. Look at this. This is like your old 1960s F1 racing. You got 9 cars in a line. Dylan Rudd's thinking 3 wide on the inside. He is, and maybe we could go for 4 with one Mr. Kenneth Latter, but he'll be helping out Corey Preston here on the brakes, who's got it. Oh, nicely done on the inside. Rudd's going to have to go the long way round. And look at this. Back down the inside goes Jack Boyd as they go through towards the next section of road. And it looks like it's Rudd now on the inside who's got this one on a wonderful, wonderful move to pick this one all up. But it's no means all done. Boyd falls back into line as now they're on the inside. Corey Preston fighting tooth and claw for every single place, and he's got the inside line and he's got the place back again. That was world class.
Yeah, absolutely great work there by Preston, absolutely pushing right through and getting to the front there as we just see him pull back again. Dylan Rudd absolutely damn it on the brakes there.
Oh no! Tyres in the grass on braking, and Jack Boyd takes to the kitty litter. Look at the places he will lose. He will drop behind Kinman. He will maybe drop behind Steve Jansen as well, as we look at Rob Bowden at the moment, now promoted up into 9th place, who's got a great eyes view on everything going on in front right now, and this becomes a huge little look. There's Kenneth Latter here, who's in the trainers, just seen Corey Preston walk away to the tune of 1.3 seconds, exactly what the Exo cars wanted.
Yeah, great work there by Corey Preston, just getting that little bit of clean air and pushing out, but it does look like it might be able to pull them all back here on the draft. They're not that too far back as they come around the Parabolica.
Jack Boyd there in the background making a place back up again, so he's got through on Steve Jansen once more, and in comes Rob Bowden then for a stop. Now, this is, oh my goodness me, a big catch out with how early the line is here around this place. Kyle George has made himself look a little bit foolish, and even Austin Powers would not have liked to have been stuck the way that he was there for a little bit. Motum simulation replay. Kyle George got this every shade of wrong in a boatload of Sundays.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he didn't have enough room, because you can see that distance there to Bowden, but yeah, just way too hot there and nowhere to go. Thankfully, just missing the back there of Bowden and steering into the fence, so yeah, there'll be a 10-point turn there to ride himself off.
But there's no fast repairs here in this one either, so you can see this from now. Rob Bowden, I think, was very scared about the line. He was looking at how quickly he was. I wonder if he was too slow on his marks there, but it just looks like he gets a tap as well. Now, Rob Bowden's got to be incredibly careful about that tap, because if he's been knocked in the pits like he did there, he may have a speeding penalty if he's not too careful.
Yeah, it's exactly right, and by the sounds of it, he's not too bad, so yeah, back out there in 26. It will be interesting to see how he comes through with that pack of 6 to 12 from Dylan Rudd all the way to Steve Jansen and Paul Di Maria.
That's going to be key. We'll see how the progress goes. This is Kenneth Latter looking backwards there. That's Dylan Rudd in the number 19 car in 7th position just behind. So everything to play for and a bit more here. Looking at the inside potentially at Parabolica here at the end of lap 8 of 22. Going on to start lap 9 pretty shortly, these drivers are at the moment. So that one not quite working out here as they continue to move on forward. Burton leads by 2.5 seconds right now as in comes Dylan Rudd to try and cover off the move and dive down in onto the lane. You've got Marco Nurmela in 3rd, Andrew Dyson in 4th. That gap now up over a second for the first time. But what's key is Jake Burton out in front, no worries. Controversial the way he took the lead, but out in front with no worries.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, leading to Freya and Nurmela as well. All really does see that top 5 is quite spread out there at the moment. And I was going to say, for Rob Bowden, possibly a good strategy there, trying to pull in early. He could see that everyone was aggressive fighting for that track room. So maybe being out there on his own, will be able to chip away at it quicker.
Well, let's look. They're going to be side by side down the front stretch here. Dylan Rudd's got to fight this, but there is the difference in pace. And Dylan Rudd has got no choice. He's got to fall into line behind Rob Bowden, whose undercut has worked, but will have older tyres from now to the end. Now, here's Damian Johnstone in 7th place, looking to get by Kenneth Latter as soon as possible. But Latter's got one job and one job only. Hold the pack up so that Corey Preston has as much time as he possibly can. Oh my, that's Matt Lapino there, and it looks like Christian Smart as well.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for those two. Hopefully we can just catch a modem simulation replay here.
Let's have a look. Going through here at Curva Grande, Dan Johnson, I think, gets caught up in all of this. This is happening right in front. So Christian Smart here, right behind one of the Team Hyperdrive cars. And that's just Lapino getting too greedy over the curb. He gets himself up on two wheels. He can't slow the car down. And both of them get dumped to the outside in the middle of the track and try and get themselves going again. It's a clumsy, clumsy accident.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And quite fortunate that the pitted cars were just enough back because they almost blocked half that track there. So we just see a few more people come in into the pits now. Kenneth Latta and Paul Di Maria.
And Di Maria will be looking to try and get a nice stop out and away again. Has been quietly plugging away his car number 27 in this one. Now Steve Jansen and David Kinman fighting for 8th and 9th here on the road. This is lap 10 out of 22, so they'll be thinking about what they're doing. And as well, Dylan Rudd has got through on Rob Bowden, so that's going to be key in terms of that little scrap. We see one car diving down into the pits there as well. Behind them is Corey Shepherd. So here's the progress there on the front stretch. There's the car coming out of Kenneth Latta. Through will go Dylan Rudd. Through will go Rob Bowden. Kenny's got to find a little bit of pace.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And really the way that track is as well, they come through quite quickly, but almost where that pit exit is such a hard braking zone. So good enough for them to slot in behind. We're just seeing a few around the back of the track there.
Going up the hill, David Kinman hoping that he's going to find that position defended at the moment. Try and stay with the number 13 car of Michael Rosenblatt just in front as they go through the left, right, left of the Ascari chicane, the 1952 and 1953 Formula One World Champion at this stage. So he did a very good job before his untimely death, but always commemorated here at Monza. But there's your leader, Jake Burton. There's Tom Freer in second. He's 3.2 seconds back. But crucially, not going away here is Marco Nurmela and Andrew Dyson. That gap 1.8 and 1.1 seconds respectively as Corey Preston pits from 5th.
Yeah, and what a pace Jake Burton's putting in. The only driver on that lap so far putting in a 140, being in the 148. So, yeah, both Freer and Nurmela.
A little bit of a bump there. Jack Boyd ran into the back slightly there of Henri Michaela. So we'll catch this one on replay there. The green machine ends up looking like it may have to be Hulk Smash in a few moments' time. So hits the brakes. There's a big closing distance here, and there's a bump there from Jack Boyd, who was really trying to play with the line.
Yeah, it's exactly right. So we're seeing with that fast pit entry right down to that pit lane speed limit, quite a few incidents so far. As we see Dylan Rudd come through, he's going to get
Preston.
Yeah, past both of them there. So just seeing those two XO cars behind him.
But the key here is that Corey Preston's got the freshest tyres of them all at this stage, so he'll be looking to try and get them up to temperature quickly and use them right now to get out and going. A lot of drivers came into the pits then on that lap. Only a handful didn't. Daniel Johnson, Steve Jansen, Dyson, Nurmela, Freer and Burton, those who didn't. Down the inside looks Corey Preston here at the Della Roggia, and you're not going to really argue about that one there. Dylan Rudd will try and fight it back on the exit towards the first Lesmo, but doesn't get enough of a run, has to stay behind the man net 5th on the road.
Yeah, I was also just looking at a little bit further down as well between Boyd and Michaela. We did see that incident, Boyd into the back, so Michaela is leading Boyd out of the pits there, and yeah, quite a lot of damage there to the back of Henry Michaela.
Yes, so Michaela's got work to do. There are no fast repairs, as we said, so if he's caught any damage, he's going to have to do it. Race leader in, though, that's Jake Burton, who has dived down into the pits in the virtual racing school car. He's followed by Marco Nurmela and Andrew Dyson, so Tom Freer stays out on track for his 12th lap of the event so far. Steve Jansen will also dive in, and we will be expecting Dan Johnson in pretty soon as well here in this one. So Tom Freer going long. It's not often that you hear that from Pursuit, that they go long, but they're going long here today, as at the moment Kinman trying to fight this one out for 11th place on the road here at the moment with, for 12th place with Michael Rosenblatt. Rosenblatt holds on.
Yeah, great there. Work by Rosenblatt, running a little bit wide, but yeah, just seen him pull in behind Rosenblatt. We haven't seen too much of him throughout this race, as well as Kinman. As Kinman pulling right there up onto his right side there, Jake.
And just like that, Steve Jansen coming out of the pits as well, some side-by-side in front, as there is one move done. there is Johnstone through on Bowden, then getting a place done. So that was all nicely done. Kinman's got the place on Rosenblatt. There is your race leader at the moment. He's due to come in and make a stop. It's Tom Freer at the moment in the Track Racer Pursuit Sim Racing car, looking every which way, try and gain something, maybe on an overcut here compared to Tom Freer. There, of course, is the number 3 car, walking a little bit wounded, as here's a battle between Marty Hansen and James Chastanoff as they fight just outside the top 20.
Yeah, great work there by Chastanoff. I was just also casting my eye over the timing screen as well. So Kenneth Latta on an absolutely blinder in 6th position at the moment. So yeah, fast making ground there on Corey Preston. We're just seeing Tom Freer into the pits now. Yeah,
you could see how much that rear axle locked up, trying to slow the car down. You don't have much to work with in terms of braking power in these very, very aggressive machines, so you've got to be pretty alert and on it here for an early cone line here at Monza compared to, say, the Formula 1 pits, which is a little bit later. You've got green cones very early to make sure that you are in as much as possible. There is Damien Johnstone we're on board with right now, looking at Dylan Rudd, hoping that another position can be on the horizon. If you're going to slide a little bit like Dylan Rudd is, you might run into a couple troubles, but look at this from Jake Burton. He's ahead of Tom Freer coming out of the pit, so it is parity resumed then as Freer has left, and he's only 1.9 seconds adrift. So he has done well in that stop. He knows what he's got to do and do it well. But the key here is that Andrew Dyson has leapfrogged Marco Nurmela in the stop.
Yeah, that's right. With a 2 second shorter stop, and all three are all going to be on pretty similar tyres at the moment. So we've also talking tyres as well. Damien Johnston having this slight tyre advantage there that he's going to have.
Going to have all he needs going on forward into this one, but we've still got more coming up on the horizon here as we've got these drivers all fighting here. The JK Sainz Synergy Sim Racing car there, car number 4, Damien Johnstone, looking at maybe 6th place could happen, maybe even 5th if he's aggressive enough, because he's only 2.5 seconds back of that, and he knows he's 9/10 off of Kenneth Latta, so work to be done, big slide.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be great seeing his car there is in that top 5 position as we just see him come through there now. So yeah, Damien Johnson, that Synergy car looking absolutely amazing. The other Synergy car, not so much so. A few dented panels on that. Bit of the
that was Jordi Sinai's car there that we just saw looking absolutely beaten and buffed up here at the moment here. Sorry, no, that's Michael Cracknell there in 16th place there, having a beaten and buffed up car. So looking more. There's the Penrite Stealth Simforce car there of what is Greg Sharp. He quietly gets about his business. He's in 17th place at the moment. He's been as high as 15th in this one. Started 24th. I'd say this is a good day for Greg Sharp.
Yeah, great work there for Greg Sharp. A pretty lonely drive at the moment. He's got cars about 10 seconds in front and behind. So yeah, just tapping away those laps there. Different story there for Jack Boyd, under a lot of pressure there from Michael.
Just got through.
Yeah, just got through there.
On Henri Michaela, so that's a change of position. Now, Crackers, who had to start, remember, from the back of the grid here, has got work to be done here in 16th position right now. Car number 10, you always got to try and beat your number, but I doubt that might be the case today. Look at Henri Michaela coming back, though. He's got nothing on the boot, and of course, that will give him a little bit more straight line speed. The fact that he's got less weight to be working about, and he's got that one straight back again. So that's nicely done as they change the places and continue to move on in their race. But Michaela here and Jack Boyd, well, I don't think Henri's going to make this one very easy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Being an absolutely demon on their under brakes as we see Boyd pulling behind there just as they come out of De Rogia.
And now towards the first Lesmo. It's a look down the inside, and Henri, I think, is going to have to cede that one very much, a nose down to the inside, and Jack Boyd was not taking no for an answer there at that opening corner. So everybody's going to be pretty much trying to be eyes alert here at this one for how long things are going to be going on. Side by side in front, though, Rob Bowden, and that's Mike Rosenblatt jumping inside the top 10 then with that good move in the RTR car. They're having a pretty good run of all things considered to get himself into that top 10. You can't really fault Michael Rosenblatt for the way he's been driving.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A pretty good late charge here that we're seeing by Rosenblatt. So not too far off Kinmond as well. We haven't seen too much of David Kinmond, but just that little bit in front, unfortunately. I don't think they'll be able to catch that draft, but they will bunch up as they come into turns 1 and 2.
There's 8 tenths, and now Steve Janssen wants in on Rob Bowden as well. They will fan out to 2 wides. They go down the front stretch. No draft being given here to Janssen. He's got to do it the hard way, and he is later on the brakes than Rob Bowden. He gets it nicely slowed up, and it is the Mustang that gets by the Holden then to pick up the place. There are no differences between these 2 cars. They're exactly identical, and the good news about them being identical is there was a little bit of side-by-side there in the background as well as we look at Dyson and Nurmela's scrap for 3rd place at the moment. The key here is that they have no differences between them. So what the key is that there'll be no arguments about, oh, my car's better, my car's better. Oh, no, it's exactly the same. You just pick the one that you think looks prettier.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we have seen Nurmela pulling 3 tenths on that last lap, so not too far from striking distance at the moment. Just a few more corners to go until he's going to be close enough.
The gap is 8 tenths of a second right now as they look to hit the brakes up the hill into the Ascari chicane. So easy to take too much out of the corner. It's even easier to run a little bit too deep through there. You've got to be so careful. Just pushing on the exit there. That's where the junior layout of the circuit encroaches back onto track, which is always a tough little part of the track to really work on because it's so easy to push wide. You don't get an incident point, so to speak, at the 17 before a drive-through and a 25 before disqualification. There on the right-hand side, what you get is a case of trying to push the envelope out too far until you hit grass and spin it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And opposite to that, you have Parabolica, a really big wide corner. But as we were saying before, with the dynamic track, there will be the marbles on the outside there. Just seeing how Nurmela and Dyson cross the line then. So Nurmela again about 2 tenths faster. So he's going to be right up there on the back of Dyson. So Dyson, for his podium position, is going to be under a lot of pressure.
Here comes Damien Johnstone down the inside of Kenneth Latter. Well, there's not much you can do there for the rear gunner there as Damien Johnstone up into 6th place, finding a way through. Now look at David Kinmond here. He's been caught right up to by Janssen and Rosenblatt, who want to get themselves up a little bit higher inside that top 10. They're fighting it out for 9th, 10th and 11th, and technically 12th if Rob Bowden can stay with them. But because Rob Bowden has pitted so early in this race, those tyres really are not being helped right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It does look like Bowden is going to be making it difficult for himself, choosing to pit early and try and get that overlap in. Just looking at a Dyson and Nurmela. So Nurmela about just over 7 tenths at the moment. So just struggling to pull Dyson in at the moment, but just seeing them bunch up again coming into De Roggia.
And this is key here as everyone looks to try and think about, okay, where are they going? What are they doing? How are they finding themselves at this stage? Kinmond up the hill under the old embankment course there, and that oval can be run on iRacing as well. If you're looking for an iRacing subscription, you want to sign up today if you haven't already, because this is where great racing happens, time in, time out. You will find yourself in a field like this, which is tailored to your skills and your pace, and you'll try and get yourself as quick as possible to get up to this part. Here's some side-by-side though. That's Marty Hansen looking a little bit worse for wear in the Bow Repairs Synergy Redback racing car, but still finding a way through on Sam Collins in the 6th gear Team Hyperdrive car. So that's a very nice move being done there. So the Spider there, the Redback car, very much nicely holding on into position as the gap now 3 tenths here between Dyson and Nurmela, but ultimately it does just extend out again.
Yeah, it does seem that Nurmela just has that pace there on the rear part of the circuit, as we just see it does look like Janssen and Kinmond and Rosenblatt again pulling in tighter. So yeah, Kinmond having a pretty quiet race, but that's pretty quickly about to change now.
You know, if they continue on this, they're going to catch up to the back of Kenneth Latter and Dylan Rudd. So that will be the main goal. And I wonder if they're going to try and use David Kinmond to push themselves to get up that far and then say thank you very much for the work. We'll take all the credit and make 3 passes in the final couple of laps or so. That might just be the case that we will be seeing here as they go through with this fantastic little wide shot there. And here is the camera on the inside, on the outside curb, sorry, here at the 2nd Lesmo corner before they head up towards Ascari once again. The small kink left doesn't do much, but it does just try and set you up. You go down the hill, there's a small bump on the right-hand side of the circuit. It makes no difference for these larger vehicles, but sometimes you do see vehicles pull over to the left-hand side of the track at that point to get things going. But what's key here is how you position yourself. It's 5 laps to go when they cross the line with Jake Burton in control by 3.8 seconds. This fight happening about 25 seconds here off of the race lead, 20 to 25 seconds even, and they want places and they want them soon. And look at Janssen starting to get in the mirrors.
Yeah, Janssen just putting that pressure on, just showing a nose there to Rosenblatt. So Rosenblatt covering it off now is right in the draft there of Kidman. So we'll see who's going to come hard on the brakes then into turns 1 and 2.
Well, it's all about now the great equalising force that is David Kinland here. That's what's covering Rosenblatt. Janssen thinking about the inside here in towards turn number 1. He lifts off the brake slightly, trying to get it turned in. They're costing each other now here as they fight. Janssen around the outside will have better power application on the exit here. You get torque oversteer and understeer in these vehicles. They're a nightmare to handle, but it is the Mustang going through of Steve Janssen into the top 10.
Yeah, Janssen absolutely picking it beautifully there, defending well, parking that Mustang almost right in the center of the braking zone there. You can see Kinman getting that ever so slight advantage with the 2 fighting behind him.
Oh, and Dylan Rudd there just in front was having a little look at Kenneth Latta. They're going through. He got all shades of sideways through the corner, and Mark Scaife would have been yelling it was right out sideways were he looking at this race. But ultimately, Kenneth Latta keeps the place, 7th and 8th at the moment. They remain at this stage, but I want to look forward here at Dyson as there is Corey Shepherd letting everyone go a lap down. I want to look at this because there is Marco Nurmela, the Finn. He may be flying, as all Finns apparently seem to do, but look at that then going forward. A little quick change of direction there for Andrew Dyson, who knows that he doesn't want to be sitting too much. I wonder if Nurmela's just sitting back thinking, well, you've got to save fuel, and I'm behind you, so you can't do any of that.
Yeah, exactly right. It's really trying to wonder out there now. You can just see him trying to shake that draft off, whether or not Nurmela is just trying to buy his time. He knows that if he puts in an attack in on any of these chicanes here, that definitely the caliber of driver like Dyson will definitely attack back. So just sitting there on the back bumper there of Dyson. Dyson a little bit of a slide there coming out of turn 2.
But that little slide is going to give a little bit more time as everybody starts to think about giving chase here in this one. Marco Nurmela trying to do everything in the racecraft engineering car to catch the Simrigs.com DPR machine. They're just in front. They slam onto the brakes. They go through the left, right to the Della Roggia. And you can see here the differences in terms of their lines. A lot more aggressive on the second curb. There was Andrew Dyson. You've got to be careful about being too aggressive through that section of track because an off-track incident point is so easy to accrue. And not even that, an off-track incident point, a slowdown penalty as well would do a nightmare here in this battle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we are finding that that Dyson seems to be just a little bit stronger here through the front part of the circuit where Nurmela really pulls him back through these long sweeping turns. We did see on the last lap that they put down almost identical lap times, but you can see here Nurmela through these big, we're coming through a chicane at the moment, but through the longer sweeping corners there, a bit of smoke there from Dyson. Yeah, Nurmela just pulling back just a little bit to back to 6/10.
And it's that 6/10 of a second gap. Andrew Dyson just doing enough right now. Doesn't feel like he needs to be too concerned here in this Mustang versus Holden battle for the final spot on the podium at the moment. There is Kinman caught again here by Steve Janssen in terms of this scrap for 9th, 10th and 11th at the moment. 2 will get a top 10. 1 will be unfortunate here at this stage unless they all start running into each other. But Janssen gets an absolute cream cracker of a run here, trying to get this one working forward and trying to get this one all nicely wrapped up with a nice neat bow. It's the same for my sister right now, celebrating her 15th birthday. But now on the outside, here tries one Mr. Steve Janssen, trying to get this move sorted, and he's got it on the brakes against David Kidman, who had nothing for it.
Yeah, absolutely masterclass there by Steve Janssen. Pulled that draft in and got the drive straight onto that straight and just pulled it up perfectly on that chicane there.
Oh, and there's the big difference maker through that chicane. Marco Nurmela wants nothing to do with that anti-cut curve. But there is Andrew Dyson, who wants everything to do with it, and as such he pulls out enough of a gap which will defend him through to Ascari.
Yeah, that's right. And we just see him come through the Lesmos now. Pretty evenly matched, and yeah, just looking at the lap times again, both again with a 1:49.5. So neither really seem to be making ground on either at the moment. And Nurmela's definitely just that little bit too far back to put in an overtake.
Well, this is the key. If Marco Nurmela wants this place, he's going to have to do it quickly here, and he's going to have to be more aggressive around this place. You can see how wide they're going when Andrew Dyson, and all of a sudden it's like watching the Indianapolis 500 in the way that he's serpentining across the circuit, trying to break any semblance of the draft through the Parabolica corner and over towards the Retafilo once again. There will be only a couple of laps to go when they cross the line, and it will be 2 laps remaining, and again moves hard to that inside and takes that hard aggressive line over to the left, and now he's trying to weave and get himself going. There's no FIA ruling here in this one. This is iRacing alone. You got to make sure you've got enough room. Nurmela's trying everything to get close enough, and you could say that Andrew Dyson is starting to go to every trick in the book and trying to play every tune.
Yeah, Dyson definitely pulling out all stops. Thankfully no one else around at the moment, so he can pull that weaving through. We'll see Nurmela pull that gap in just around a few of these sweepers again, but still inseparable again with both 1:49.5. So potentially we might be seeing Nurmela on the limit there. You can see him, he's right up on that curb there as they come around that right-hander into the Lesmos.
And again, there's where the time is being lost here for Marco Nurmela in terms of this battle. There are a couple of things going on up and down. Damien Johnstone can't quite get to Corey Preston, but everything's just trying to settle themselves out at this stage. Michael Rosenblatt's had a moment. He's dropped way back now in 11th place, and in fact is under pressure slightly from Rob Bowden here. So that's 11th and 12th, and Bowden with a whole boot of sideways.
Yeah, you can see potentially with Bowden's tyres, with that early pit stop potentially going off there, as we're just seeing a bit of damage there on that bow repairs Holden of Marty Hansen. Had a pretty rough race at the moment, but still sitting pretty well in 18th.
And this is the battle right down at the back. The last lap will be starting for Jake Burton right about now. It's this scrap we focus on for the podium. Andrew Dyson, Marco Nurmela, the white flag, as is so synonymous with American racing, out here at the moment. But you can see Dyson desperately trying to weave. Nurmela's a little bit slow to it right now, and you can see here to left, to right, to left, to right. Nurmela's just wanting to be aggressive here on the brakes in towards the next section. You can see he gets it slowed up on a dime, but he's not quite there just yet. Gives him a bump there through turn number 2. And now it's about this run heading towards turn 4 and 5, the Della Roggia section. But that bump would have costed all the run here that Andrew Dyson has suddenly been able to pick up. So Nurmela unable to place the car, getting frustrated with the antics of Andrew Dyson. I think the 7 car may just outwin it here today against the 8. They head through to Della Roggia. There's not much I think you can do in the Racecraft Engineering esports car to really get anywhere near close enough to make this one happen late in the day. But for the time being, we'll keep a little focus on it. It's now up to 0.8 of a second. It's going to have to rely on a mistake here from Andrew Dyson, who very seldom makes them here. There is, of course, Michael Rosenblatt under pressure still from Rob Bowden, who seemingly got some life with the tyres curing late here in the race. It looks like Rosenblatt's got not much that he's going to be fighting left for, but to car number 1, in position number 1 though, we must go, because heading through the final couple of corners it will be at this stage. There is Jake Burton getting one done on one of the lapped simrigs.com DPR cars. It was controversial the way he got past Corey Preston, but he's not caring too much. He did all he needed to do. Jake Burton picks up a big win and big points here in this championship push. Exactly what he needs for this official crown. It will be second going to Tom Freer, who will be incredibly happy with all of this. But for the time being, is the more fights to the end. Kenneth Latta and Dylan Rudd are looking for 6th and 7th place as they start to make their pushes over to the line. And it looks like Latta is going to be the former rather than the latter.
That's exactly right. a great work pulling him back together like that, and we're just seeing it does look like Bowden's going to be both himself and Rosenblatt are going to miss out on that top 10. David Kidman seemingly pulling away from them, so showing some really great late pace where it matters, and we're just seeing Chastanov come down the outside of Marty Hansen.
We certainly have, and it's a very, very nice little run there at the end, but James Chastanov not quite close enough to get to Marty Hansen at this stage as he goes on through. I know it's terrible, but we keep on moving forward here. These four all making pushes to the line, but there's not much you can do. The line comes early around this place, and that is where the positions stay as they get themselves over to the end. So let's get official classified results then up on your screen for you. Official results, because they are in the iRacing official series, and very rarely do you get a protest over to Nim Cross Jr. and the iRacing crew, who do a wonderful job around here. Jake Burton wins over the 22-lap event by 6.2 come the end over Tom Free, who had a very, very good run, and that will be a real confidence booster for himself, and as well as this weekend over towards the Imola 500 in Scops. Andrew Dyson picks up third, but he had to work all race long to shake off Marco Nurmela there in fourth position. The Finn giving a really good account of himself, with Corey Preston in fifth place, feeling like he could have had a lot more potentially out of this one, but the pace, well, it doesn't lie sometimes. He stays ahead of Damien Johnstone in sixth place. With the team change, that would be good for Synergy there, a sixth place. There's a certain driver who likes sixth place as Synergy. Can't remember for the foggiest who that is. Kenneth Latter, though, gets seventh place, with Dylan Rudd in eighth as they were line and stern over the line. It's all Mustangs to finish the top 10. Steve Janssen ahead of David Kinmond.
Yeah, we just saw that battle before of Michael Rosenblatt and Rob Bowden missing out on that top 10. Jack Boyd with some pretty early pace, unfortunately regulated to 13th. Michael Krakenell, Henry Michaela, the Finn, Paul De Maria, Greg Sharp, Marty Hansen, and James Chastanov, as we saw come across the line, and Daniel Johnson rounding out the top 20.
On the back of that, just missing the top 20 is the Hyperdrive driver Samuel Collins. Christian Smart is all on his own now, it seems, at Gone Rogue, and he finishes up in 22nd, with Kyle George and Thomas McMillan having issues of their own, 23rd and 24th. One lap down goes Corey Shepherd and Brian Borg. Not a good day for the Premier Racing team. They would have been hoping for a bit more, but Darren Lobb, Matt Lapino, Mitch Bolton, and Jordi Sinai all running into trouble today. They did not make it around and finish off this event, and that will be a shame for them. But there's a lot of racing that comes up on the horizon. There's something almost every day of the week when it comes to SimSpeed TV, be it on the SimSpeed TV YouTube channel or right here on the iRacing Esports Network. And you can catch some more amazing stuff on the iRacing Esports Network every day of the week. You just stay here on YouTube or on Twitch and you will find some brilliant stuff from not just us here at SimSpeed, but all of the partners of the iRacing Esports Network, the likes of Racebot TV, Apex Racing TV, the Global Sim Racing Channel, Podium Esports, and LSR TV, all of which do a sensational job. But that brings proceedings here today to a close. We're looking forward to 1 week's time in round 11 of the championship. We also look forward to this weekend and the Scops Imola 500, which will be round 10 of the championship, the middle of enduro season before the great Australian sim race and the great sim race of all great sim races. But from Nick Skarajev, who has been alongside me on my left-hand side, from Jay Kennedy on the cameras, from Motum Simulations, who have been on the replays, and myself, Jake Sperry, we thank you for watching a SimSpeed TV presentation. It is Jake Burton's smile, but he'll have a wry one as he goes on through. Corey Preston, again, not getting quite the luck that he wanted. He had to fight a lot more than needed to, but Burton won't mind. He'll think about points, and points as he thinks about putting together a late charge towards the championship. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you as well on the weekend.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't can't believe this. Oh my god.
God, what?